it's Georgie the Goblin, and welcome to the official Family of Gamers podcast, the podcast where Andrew and Coach talk all things war games, board games, and much, much more. And here are your hosts, Andrew and Coach.
FOG Andrew here, and the Coach here, and Phasia, aka Hot Dice, aka Fabian, and Ryan here from the Family of Gamers. Welcome, War Gamers, to an exciting, awesome episode. Wow, this is a crazy episode of the FOG.
Star-studded event right now.
This is insane.
Mm-hmm. So, Andrew, what are we conversating about?
Well, I mean, I would appreciate it if everybody would say hi.
Hey, fellers.
Fabian, say hi too.
Hello, everybody. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah. This is going to go great. All right, so we got episode 2 of the FOG podcast. This is the official podcast for Family Gamers, where we talk all things miniature wargaming, board games, tabletop games, all that good stuff. And if you guys want to check out our other social medias and our YouTube channel, which we pretty much post weekly on there, our link tree will be in the description / show notes, wherever you're listening to, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, whatever. It'll be in there, so you guys can check all that stuff out. But I thought today, for this episode of the FOG podcast, by the time this is coming out, Adepticon will be even closer. So we're filming this in the middle of February, but Adepticon is coming soon. Yes. So I thought we would talk a little bit about Adepticon and kind of what we're excited to see. Some pre-Adepticon chit-chat.
Well, when this comes out, we should be about 25 days out from Adepticon.
Yep.
Approximately 25 days out.
Yes. So what are you? So Fabian and the Roy, are you guys excited for this year of Adepticon?
Right.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. We just after last year's, I think there was just like, all right, it was in our mind the day we got back that we were doing this again. So, here we are.
Well, Ryan, I think you're incorrect. I think what happened last year was we went to Adepticon, and after the second day, you're like, all right, bro, next year we're going to stay here. We're going to do this. So you were like jazzed up the second day.
Right. Yeah, no, it was great. It was my first. It was after years of talk on my end. We finally followed through, and we did our Adepticon. So that was my first last year. This will be my second. Yeah, it was a good experience, and just a lot of nice guys there, and just tons of everything we love about the hobby. It's just like all in one central location. So.
Well, what the big thing about Adepticon for me is what really opened our eyes. We went about 12 years ago the first time, and when we went, it's like everything. There's really no. Fabian will back me up on this. You go to a hobby store and you can see your models, turn it over, look at stuff, and those are few and far between now. So everything's on a website. I want to get some static grass, I want to get some paint brushes, I want to order some models. Everything's online. You go to Adepticon and everything is live and in person, 3D, in color, and it's just an experience. And it's like I never thought about buying this item, but now that I see it, I need it because now I actually see it. When it was online, I could give or take, but now it's like, okay, I want to buy this paint. I want to, I want to add this model. So, I think that's what that's why it's so special.
Yeah, it's like everything's available to you that you've seen, and all these other things you've never seen. And suddenly, like, wow, I need that. Wow,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, last year when we went, it was like, I remember we look at the Mantic booth, and I was like, what's this boat game? Armada? And then I remember Coach was like, oh, yeah, I talked to you about that. And I was like, really? I was like, well, seeing the models in person, I was like, well, hot damn, we got to try this out. And then here we are, almost a year later, pretty much, been playing the game for a bit. So, and obviously we, at least me and Coach, like Armada a lot.
Mhm.
So
I think Ryan's in that category too.
At least one man out.
Well,
It's not Deep Wars. That's all I can say.
well, don't do that. Original.
so you're gonna make me faint.
Yeah, well, that goes to another topic we'll get to about demos, but we can go back to that later. But when I brought this up to Andrew and even Ryan, and I watched some videos of Armada, and I said, I really like that wind aspect. It's actually pretty cool. You know what? This is actually a cool game, and I think both you guys were like, nah, it doesn't sound interesting. And then you do the demo, and it's there, like I said, live and in person. And you're like, all right, we got to get this game. So, that's the beauty. And you know what, though? There are a few games that we did last year, and it was like, okay, this looks really cool. It's not that cool. And you don't drop, $300-400 on a game that you're going to not play. So I think that's a huge benefit to go into something like this.
Honestly, that's how I felt last year demoing Armada. I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to spend money on it, but I did it anyway because all of you were into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I played the game once or twice. I don't really love it, but I must say that I watched your demo the other day, you and Ryan's. Like, seems like it's a lot more fun than I realize.
Right.
So I have to give it another at some point.
Well, I think because what we did that day, we went too many points. And I think it was too many ships and too much going on. I think if we go a little bit lower, like the battle report me and Ryan did was about we did about 150, and it's a little bit easier to manage your ships. You know what I mean? You can get, when you get over 250, I think we played 250 and it was too much. So I think we do it again, but also we played without islands. With the islands and maneuvering around them, it's a lot better to the game, and it's also you being an X-wing player having those asteroids. It's basically the same general concept, and it's more fun that way.
That's exactly what I was thinking when I saw the islands.
Mm-hmm.
That adds the extra element that I probably was. That's what you said. Probably did it with a little too much.
Yeah.
For me, my first time. Give me a few tips.
Yeah, no, I know, especially for me personally, I feel like when I'm starting to learn a game, if all these individual pieces have so many rules, it's better for me to just focus on a couple to start.
Right.
However, whatever size you decide to start with. So I have less rules personally for me to remember in order to play the game. And then once I get the hang of that, then you add another thing. You keep adding things.
Right.
So you get to the point where you're now at a full-size game and you have all of those ships' rules in your head. So it'll be much easier to do then.
And it's easier because if you bring a ship with or anything in with some new rules, but you have a grasp of the basic rules, it's just easy. Like, oh well, he shoots on a 3 and he shoots at 20 inches as opposed to 15 inches. It's a very easy transition.
For sure.
Yeah. So you got to come over and we got to do it again, man.
Yeah, we will. We will for sure.
Definitely playing. I'm gonna jump in here, but I think definitely Armada is a game where you have like a couple ships, and then if you're feeling a little frisky or something, then you do a big game, because like we were doing some games where it's like, oh, I got 8 ships each or whatever, and then it's like, oh, well, it's like 10 hours of kind of like the first 2 rounds where like nothing happens,
Right.
And then you have a lot of smaller ships or faster ships or something, and they get in there, because I feel like you can't really do anything unless you're getting close, with other ships doing double or triple damage or something. So like the first 2 rounds I feel like are just kind of they're kind of slow. But when you got a lower amount of ships, it goes by a lot quicker. That's what I kind of like a little bit about that.
Well, isn't the tournament's 5,000 points? I'm pretty sure.
Well, no.
So
the tournament is 200 points, but there are 2 5,000 point games where it's a bunch of people taking a certain amount, but it's 5,000 points per side.
Gotcha.
It's like a free for all type deal.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's that's a thing. I remember, Fabian. You remember we went a long time ago. I don't know, the first one we went with me, you, Andrew was like still in diapers, and with Eric, and they were doing an apocalypse game, and it was something like 30,000 points a side, and it was a table that ran. I think that was when it was in Lombard, and it was a table that ran, and it was Titans and all this stuff, and it was chaos, and it was, oh my God, but it was the coolest thing to see because it's all the different models and stuff. So I think that's what they're trying to recreate with the Armada. Just bring a ton of ships and go to town.
Yeah, for sure. That's it. Always looks fun, but I'm like, I don't know if I could focus on something for that long.
Yeah, I think we could do something like that. Like maybe, I don't know, just like maybe 500 points a side, 250 each, and just like do that, like to try it out. You know, I would like to do that. Maybe we do like a beer and pretzel type deal, do a barbecue and do like something like that, 500 points a side, and you know.
I think we could do that. And like for me personally, that would be easy because again, it'd be less ships for me to focus on.
Right.
And then I have a teammate who's got the same amount point wise going against the other two. So that would totally be a fun thing to do. And then we're all involved, so it's even more fun.
Yeah. And I think with that, we just throw out the force org chart and take whatever the hell we want to fill up the spots. But
yeah, I'm taking like 8 narwhals, you know.
That's fine. Well, now with the vault, I can print up 80 of them.
Well, I mean, you guys are forgetting that I may or may not also have Twilight Imperium 4th edition, so we got to get that to the table. And that's like, you guys got to come over at like 8 a.m. and then we start, you know, and then you know,
yeah,
it's gonna go for maybe a little while.
Well, getting back to Adepticon, since we're there and they have a thing where you can rent out a board game, maybe we can grab one of those and play Twilight Imperium there. Maybe grab some other people, and then, you know, guys that we talk to all the time but are going to be at Adepticon, so maybe we can grab like Rob or Bill and Sue and stuff and just play a board game.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. I don't know if we could do that with Twilight Imperium, but
just in general, because I think that's one of the cool things with our ticket or our pass that we got. You're allowed to rent a board game, for, you know, for whatever, a few hours or whatever, and then there's a play spot where you can go and just have it done. So maybe do that with some deep dish and some adult beverages.
Ooh, some mules.
Yep.
don't get us started on the mules again.
Yes.
Lou Almaty's or whatever it is.
Yeah. Illuminati's.
Illuminati's.
Yeah. All right, so guys, what, you know, I know we have a few vendors in mind. I mean, I love browsing. You know, so what is Andrew? What are you psyched about to go see?
So I mean, you know, I hate to say it because for us it's a little cliche, but obviously Mantic's going to be there.
Yes.
You know, excited to see Mantic games there. I mean, they have a lot of games that are on the pipeline for this year.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm very interested to see if they are going to have demos for them there, you know?
Yes.
You know, for example, like Halo, you know, that whole thing, we did a video on that talking about, you know, they got the Halo license and everything.
Right.
And they're doing, you know, some kind of miniature game, board game, something.
Right.
So I'm very interested to see what, like, the demo, if they have a demo there,
well,
you know, to see what the deal is with that.
I reached out to someone and he said that if he's demoing the game, he will give us an exclusive demo of the game, the four of us.
Ooh.
So we'll be able to film it, and even if we're not allowed to film it, we're going to film it. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to, you know, be able to play it and check it out and see what it's all about. I know it's going to come out, I think, in November, but it'd be cool to see what it's all about beforehand.
Didn't they say it was a skirmish game?
It's very vague in what they're saying. I think it's going to be Dead Zone Light, maybe Dead Zone-esque skirmish game, which is actually pretty cool. So
Mars Attacks 2.0.
Maybe.
I'm
That's what I'm
excited
hoping
for
for.
Walking Dead to come back.
It's back.
Ooh.
I know. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Now, Phasia, we did do what did we do? 2 videos on it. We did the battle report, and then we also did a video talking about Walking Dead, being Mantic's forgotten game. At least
Right.
that's what I call it.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden they announced that it's back. So I think I had something to do with that. I'm just saying.
I absolutely think you did. You were the impetus. That was in October.
I know.
And
I know.
then in November, for some reason, they made the announcement. So,
Remind me to get you a mule to say thank you.
Here you go.
Oh, I appreciate it. Now, they probably. Do you think they'll have Walking Dead demos, like kind of
I think
promoting?
So. I think so.
They're bringing it back.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. When do you remember when we bought The Walking Dead and it just came out and it was huge? They couldn't keep it off the shelf, and I had to actually, I had to call in a favor, and I'm like, can you just put one aside for me, and I'll come tomorrow and buy it? And they did. Chopper Pat held it for me, and we got it the next day, and then we brought it home, and I thought it was cool. It's a good game, but it's one of those. You know what it is? It's one of those things where it's a good game that we kind of didn't play, and maybe we should reevaluate that and reestablish that because it's pretty good. In the battle report, we made a few mistakes, but it wasn't monumental. It didn't really affect the game. And I know Fabian is a huge zombie fanatic, so we should get this going.
Don't say zombies because my ears will perk up like a hound dog. So.
Well, I didn't say zombies. I said walkers.
Same thing.
But yeah, Mantic is. They haven't let us down. The games that are coming out are pretty good. So.
Yeah, I mean, they also have the Epic Warpath Kickstarter coming out on Valentine's Day, which we're filming this before the Kickstarter is out. So,
So when this comes out, it's out.
Yeah, well, by the time the podcast is out, the Kickstarter will be out. So I wonder, if they'll have some demos there for that as well.
I like to demo it, and I'll tell you why. I have a rant. I was watching the video that they did, right? And to me, I want to take the scale out of it because I know Fabian's going to say something about that. So I'm taking the scale out of it, which to me, it's neither here nor there. But it basically, to me, looks like Firefight with a few extra rules for artillery. And they were playing Plague versus... the Enforcers, and there were new vehicles in there, which is cool. I like that there are new vehicles in there, but it basically just seems to me it's Firefight. Now I may be wrong. I got to do a demo, but I watched the whole video, and that's what I saw. I don't know if you guys watched it, but that's what I saw. It was basically Firefight. Command rules, and it's the same dice as Firefight for command. 8-sided dice, which I don't have a problem with 8-sided dice. No exploding 8s like Firefight. So, it's just that it was at a smaller scale. So you're taking, instead of, 4 jet bikes at 28 mil, he took, I don't know, about like 10 jet bikes for the Enforcers. So I don't know. I want to demo it I'm hoping there's more to it. That's why I would like to demo it. I think we're going to spend like a whole day at the Mantic booth just demoing some new stuff. But yeah, I'm kind of I'm on the fence, and it's bad.
Well,
it's bad because a Kickstarter is going to come out, and then we're going to Adepticon. So I'm going to have to really make an educated decision on this.
Well, we could always late pledge if we don't like what's in there, and then after we demo it, and if we like it, you could always probably late pledge it,
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, the only thing is the negative is the size. I've never played anything that small. I haven't watched the video yet. I want to, just to get an idea, and I haven't played enough Firefight to really compare and contrast.
Right.
But, excuse me, I would definitely demo it at the very least.
Right.
I don't know if I would back the Kickstarter unless the price for it is reasonable, maybe I would consider backing it
Yeah.
without even demoing it.
I mean-
Yeah, it's really just the size for me.
The size doesn't bother me because we were playing Flames of War, and it was basically the same size. So to me, Flames of War was fine. The scale doesn't matter.
Now, I'm curious, Ryan, if have you seen anything about Epic Warpath or what's going on with that?
No.
So you know how Flames of War has like the tiny dudes?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that, but Dead Zone Dead Zone Warpath models. So like Coach was saying, you're taking, instead of 2 peacekeepers in a unit, you're taking like 5, or something like that.
Right.
But they're tiny dudes.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
I
Flames
feel...
of War
Go
size.
ahead.
Flames of War
Gotcha.
size, like that.
And this is a new game, or
It's coming out on Kickstarter on the 14th.
okay. Yeah, I feel like I have to be really sold. I feel like, I think I definitely, if I'm gonna buy anything, I think we definitely have to demo it. And even then, I think there's like, instances where we're so excited and we don't think of like just the magnitude of just everything that is just hosted at Adepticon as far as what we can demo, what we can buy. It's a little overwhelming. So I think, like, for me, at least going into this year, as far as games go, I think we kind of just see what's there to demo. And like, I don't know, I really got to be in love with the game to buy it, because we liked Bush. Like, a great example is we bought Bushido last
Right.
Adepticon. I liked it. I liked how it played, but we just really never had the opportunity to sit down and really get into it. That's it's life. There's things that go on outside the hobby where we get busy, but we were so stoked in the moment to do it. And I forgot the first game that we demoed, and it was just like, it was the first day we got there, probably the first hour we were in the building, and I was like, I want this now.
Oh,
and you were like, let's walk around a little bit, let's breathe.
Right. That was Conquest.
Conquest, yeah.
Yeah. But I think my approach going into it is just see what's there, see what I like, and if I love it, we got to really be in love with it. Then I'll pull the trigger either to back something or demo, or to buy.
Well, the demo thing is fine. We could demo everything. It could be like,
right.
there was a few games we demoed. We were like, hey, thanks a lot. And I was like, it's not for us. But
yeah,
there has to be, there's a lot of games I want to get. But the thing is, I'm going to sit here and play the game by myself. It has to be a general consensus that we're going to play this game, because we basically play games. The 4 of us are the crew that plays the games, and it's like, all right, well, this game is awesome, but if we're not going to play it, then I don't want to be bothered. It really becomes a waste of money, and then it goes into the pile. So
the pile, yeah. But I think where we did hit it right was Armada. I mean, Pat did set us up with that, and I think the demo went really well. I forgot the guy's name who was running it, but I think he's running the tournament. I think you mentioned, but yeah, he's a very nice guy.
Yeah, he did.
But Armada's good. Like, honestly, that was one of the times where we went. We bought everything there was to buy for Armada, and I know we're printing stuff. You guys are printing stuff on your end. Like, I've kind of fell in love with that game. I think it's really fun. I think we've really kind of, like, at least for you and me, we've definitely switched from Dead. What?
Yeah, no, it's one of those games that when it hits hard. And then the vault just, the fact, the way I am, it's like, all right, we're going to get into a game. Like, we fell hard for Dead Zone, and it's like, all right, well, I have everything from Dead Zone. Well, what do you mean? What models do you have? Every one. No, but what are you missing? None. I have every single model for Dead Zone, because that's just the way it is. I want to pick something off the shelf and go, and it's the same thing with Armada. So, but that's a general consensus that we all want to play it, and
maybe Fabian.
Right. Yeah. Fabian will come back. We'll do it right.
We'll get him.
I'll swing back around. I have it. I'll try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what you said originally was, I think you guys just played with just for like a first game, just too many points.
Yeah.
Throw one or two ships on there and maneuver around and see if you like it.
Also, when we did that, we didn't know what we were doing, so we were like, oh, let's just do 250 points, not knowing that that's a huge game in that. You're talking about 3 weeks after Adepticon, so we were still rookies at that point.
The book was out. There were a lot of ships on the board.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm glad we got it. I think that was definitely one of the positives. And although I keep forgetting the name of the game we played, although I liked it, I'm kind of glad.
It was Conquest.
Yeah, you know what? I liked it, and I thought the models were cool. I like the medieval aspect, like the historical kind of overlap of that. I'm glad it was just too soon. It was the first thing in my hand. I needed to put it down and
Yeah,
go walk around. It's Adepticon can be overwhelming.
it
So.
is. It is. It's one of those. Your eyes are bigger than your stomach.
Right.
You know.
That FOMO thing.
Yeah.
You know.
And also too, when we went to Conquest, it worked out because I said to you, "All right, let's walk around, let's look at stuff," and then we went back to look at stuff at Conquest, and they didn't have the stuff we wanted. So it was like, all right, well then we're gonna have to go outside, and then it worked out that the excitement wore off, and we were like, it was okay, but so.
Right.
Did you end up demoing Kings of War, Ryan?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Again, like this is like I liked it. I just I don't know, for some reason, like, because we just like I mean most people who follow the channel obviously know this, but like we just came up playing Warhammer and just like the size and scope of those games,
Right.
and like I was very into it at first, and then like just like it became like I don't know what edition was it, fifth edition or sixth edition, where it just became like kind of like a drag for me. It was just like a lot, and I don't, obviously, Kings of War is just a little, it's simpler obviously than the old Warhammer editions, but I don't know, there's just something about like picking up a quick skirmish game, or like, you could set up a dead zone board and play in an hour, and it just, you have a victor, the game's over. Then...
I am 100% on that like side, but I will say that they have like the ambush stuff where it is a smaller game of Kings of War,
right?
And that kind of brings us to the other thing I wanted to really touch on, is that I didn't demo Kings of War last year, and I'm gonna demo it this year because the last episode of the podcast we talked about how they're coming out with the new ambush starter set, which is like $90. Like, it's cheaper than the other ones. It's got 2 factions, and they're on the smaller scale, and there's ambush scenarios where it's basically Kings of War on a smaller scale. I think that would be a little interesting to do, and I have been may or may not looking at some factions, but obviously I'm waiting for Adepticon so that I can kind of...
It's okay to look at factions, because if you do like the game, chances are there's a good chance that if when we demo it, it's not going to be like, I want to play goblins and they have like Basilians and Night Stalkers. So, you have to just see the mechanics of the game and say, okay, I want to do this, but I want to take the cool models that I like. And there should be a few guys there that we could talk to, like how these guys play, how like to fit your play style.
I'm all for trying a smaller scale. When we first met, it was all about, big armies playing 40K, and like you, Coach, I want to roll 2 handfuls of dice.
Yeah, buckets and buckets.
Exactly. Love that. But now, as years have gone on, time and everything, it's so much easier to just do skirmish games.
Right.
You get more games in, you can try a lot more different things instead of spending a whole afternoon on one game. But it's still nice to do that every so often. And if we were to go the Kings of War route, we all have stuff. We could always start small, try this ambush stuff out, and then we could go from there.
Well, but here's the funny part about Kings of War, which I don't think it's a major skirmish game, a major, like, say, huge war game, although you play it on a big war game. To me, it's a skirmish game, because really, when you think about it, you have 200 models on the board. On my side, I would have, let's say, 200 models, but only eight squares or rectangles, the units. So when
I get what you're saying.
So when you think about it, it really is only 8 or 9 models per se.
Yeah, it's like it feels like a small game, but in a bigger package.
Yeah, yeah. And I got a few guys that I know when we go to Adepticon that we could pick their brains and stuff. The guys from different podcasts and just like we talked to Mark Zielinski about it, and Kyle will be there from Mantic. So, and then the counter charge guys will be there. Maybe we could just pick their brains a little bit, and they could help us start, and we could bounce rules questions off them too.
I think there's also something to be said about, and I don't know if this is the habit of us just, maybe not this past year per se, but just the last year and also leading up to last year's Adepticon, of just playing so much Dead Zone, where individual character, like obviously you're still taking a unit, an army, but like the individual characters are just like, they're just not as diluted in larger games. And I don't know, I just like find, I just find that appealing. Like I'm building my squad rather than throwing a mob of marionettes at someone, and it's just, I don't know. Maybe I've just become a creature of habit with that. But I like the whole, you're taking 2 Black Talons, like, that's an elite. Those are elite specialists. You're taking Kalishi. Like each one matters. It's more of a mindset thing of just how we've been playing. I think that kind of makes it harder to get into for me.
Yeah, but that's the difference between a skirmish game and a war game. But I think Kings
Right.
of War is closer to a skirmish game than it is to a 40K game. You know what I mean?
All right, so with that being said, we're going to take a little break, and then we'll be right back. Do you need terrain? Do you have a 3D printer? Well, look no further than CorvusGamesTerrain.com, who is sponsoring this episode. They have plenty of STL files for all different kinds of genres, like modern, sci-fi, fantasy, and much, much more. So go to CorvusGamesTerrain.com and use code FOGPodcast15 for 15% off your next order. That's FOGPodcast15 for 15% off your next order. The link will be in the description.
All right, guys. We're back. I'm Coach. I'm with FOG Andrew, Fabian, and Ryan. And Andrew. So we kind of, as usual, went off on a tangent before, but I got to ask you, all right, what game are you excited to demo? Like, what are you looking forward to?
I hope it's there. I really hope it's there. But Worms, the board game,
Okay.
I hope that they have demos there because, if you guys don't know, Mantic put out a Kickstarter last year for the Worms board game based off of the video game. I freaking love the video game, and I had to back the Kickstarter with the highest tier so I can get everything. It looks amazing. It looks like it's the video game on my tabletop, and I really hope that they have demos there because I want to play it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, we're gonna demo it like 6 times,
Mm-hmm.
I would be shocked if they don't, to be honest.
Yeah, I really hope they do. I'm thinking like last year, how many like demo tables did they have set up? They had Armada, Kings of War, and what else?
Dead Zone.
And that was about it, right? So like I'm thinking like, are they gonna have like a bigger booth?
Oh no,
with,
I don't know if they had Dead Zone. I
more-
think they had Firefight.
No, they had Dead Zone.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
Dead Zone, Firefight, and Armada were the 3 they had.
And Kings of War. Kings of War was there.
And Kings
too.
of War, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like, how many booths, how many tables are they get? Like, are they gonna have a bigger booth with more tables set up with more demos, or how are they? How's that gonna?
Nah,
work?
they always get like a double. So.
Yeah, but I'm really excited for Worms now. Fabian and Ryan, just really quick. I mean, do you guys have any interest in Worms?
Like
just-
you,
Yeah,
I'm
go
a
ahead.
big fan of the game. I remember playing it for many years. But as a board game, I just didn't get it because I knew I wouldn't be able to play with anybody here. So why spend the money? And then since you're getting it, I could always come over and play with you guys.
Yeah. Ryan, what about you?
Yeah, I think same with Fabian. It's just I played the game. It's just how does that translate into a board game? It's just more of like a curious thing. I feel like it's something that's really up your alley because I know you're big on the game night stuff, and I feel like that's just a great game to. It's a beer and pretzels game. I feel like, or at least that's what I'd be expecting going into it just from the topic. But yeah, no, yeah, I'd be interested in playing it.
Bet. So I'm gonna take you guys up on that, because when that Kickstarter comes in, I think in August of this year,
Yeah, August.
we're playing it. We're playing it. So, but
I
that's
still want us to play a game of Resistance again sometime, because that was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I like
yeah.
Resistance.
I gotta get a new box, because the box that we have is like falling apart, and like the cards are bent and messed up, because we've had it for like 10 years, and they have like a newer box. I even have an expansion. Actually, I have one of the Resistance expansions we've never played. So I think didn't we get that when a store was closing or something, Coach?
Yeah, there was a store out by us that closed down, and we got it. And then Fabian bought the last Dead Zone starter.
Damn. Well, yeah, no, we definitely. I think one night we gotta have a day, a board game day. I know we're huge into the miniature games, but we definitely got to do a board game day where we just play a crap ton of board games.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Maybe when it gets a little nicer with Mule and Bull.
Oh, definitely. So now, Coach, what's next on the docket for vendors / games?
I always like to go to Badger with the airbrushes and the paints and stuff. I gotta see if I can get some Steino res. And Ken is always good to us. He was always takes care of me when I get there. My airbrushes are fine. I don't have a problem with that, but I need some new paint. So I always look forward to that. And I know out of the three of you, well, the four of us, I'm the one who's going to buy it. So, but also I want to check out Warlord Games, because they always have some good stuff there. And I don't know. I was thinking of maybe looking at their Seas of Flame or whatever the game that they have, which is basically Armada, but like we could maybe take like the Spanish fleet, because it's all the same rules and stuff without the fantasy twist to it. So I was wondering if that game can kind of translate into Armada. Maybe we could have like the orcs versus the Spaniards, or the the Basileans versus the English fleet, the American fleet, whatever. So I thought that would be something cool to try to demo. Black Seas, I think it is Black Seas.
Yeah, Seas of Flame is the
book.
Armada book. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I mean, is it the same thing, or is it? I feel like it would be a completely different game, though.
It's the same rules. So, and like if you look at the cards and everything, it's pretty much absolutely the same. So, I'd like to check it out. And then if they're doing, because last year I don't think Warlord was doing any demos. Because remember the year we got Test of Honor when they were doing it, and they were actually doing demos that year. But last year it was just the table. So I want to check that out.
Yeah, I mean, and I know they have. I mean, we're huge into 2000 AD and like Judge Dredd, Strontium Dog, those two games. But they have another game do you know if it's out, the ABC Warriors, or is it coming out?
Let me see. I'm looking here. I'm on their website. It's still on pre-order.
Gotcha.
So
I mean, that's I've never even heard of them, but if they're a 2000 AD thing and you can have them fight Judge Dredd, that would be kind of a cool thing to do.
I think it's part of the I wouldn't say the Dredd universe, but it is the same rule set, I think, from Andy Chambers doing it, and it looks like, if you look at the cards and everything, it looks exactly the same. So yeah, so that I like to demo it. Just check it out.
Yeah. I mean, some of the models look pretty cool too.
Yeah, people were complaining about the models. They said they didn't like the way they look. I don't particularly have anything bad to say about them.
Yeah, no, I don't have really a problem with that.
No.
What else we got?
Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, I was looking at the Free Blades demo, which is, I think it's a DGS game.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a skirmish, fantasy skirmish game.
Right.
I saw that it's on the Adepticon website. I was looking before the call, and I just I don't know, because I kind of went into this with a blank check. Like there's so much to take in.
Right.
I think we were lucky last year, even though I didn't get BattleTech. I know you guys got BattleTech. We didn't actually sign up for the demo, but the guy was nice of us to have us sit down and kind of play it. I was looking at Free Blades. It's like a skirmish game. It looks kind of. My thing is, it kind of looking at it. It kind of looks like Bushido model wise. You know what I mean? Like that whole emphasis on the individual model. And I think there's 2 sessions left, so I might sign up.
Who puts that out?
DSG Games.
Okay, I'm on the website trying to find it. But I was looking at that too, and before, and it looks actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So
honestly, I feel like you and I are similar in the sense that I usually get attracted to a game because of the models. I see the models and I'm like, that's just awesome. You know, games. You know, obviously the gameplay doesn't always follow that, but
right.
I think that's what brought us to Bushido too. So, yeah, I was looking at that, and I think that kind of just goes into the realm of games we like to play. So,
right.
Hopefully, hopefully we'll throw my name in, get us on the list to demo.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That's a game that I've actually looked at for a few years, because not last year, but the 2 prior years when I went to PAX, they were there demoing it, and last year I noticed it as well at Adepticon when we went. And I thinking the same thing, because when they were talking about a fantasy skirmish game from Mantic, and they gave us Vanguard, we were all thinking Dead Zone in fantasy.
Right.
And we didn't get that. So, but that game, Free Blades, seeing it there on the table looked interesting. And I haven't demoed it yet, but I'm like, Ryan mentioning it now, maybe we all check it out this year.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, even if we don't like it, it's something to do. It's a new game to play, and I think that's just in keeping with what Adepticon is about. So,
yeah, the other thing I wanted to mention is that Steam Forged Games is going to be there. At least they're on the exhibitors and sponsors list on the Adepticon website, and that was a whole thing with Guild Ball coming back. So I wonder if they're gonna do anything with Guild Ball there. Right. I'm kind of interested to see. I'm more curious. I don't know if I'll go ahead and demo it. I mean, at this point we're gonna just demo everything. But if they got a demo of Guild Ball to try to attract new attention to it, I might sit down and do a demo just because they have. I think it's season 4 is the newest rule set that either they're sticking with or doing whatever with. So, and then because Steamforge also has a lot of those video game property board games. The one that looked interesting was Horizon Zero Dawn. That game is actually a really good video game, and I have the Lego set for it too. That's how much I like that game. I haven't played the sequel, but I'm just curious, if they have demos on those board games, I would definitely be interested to play, or even Dark Souls, that game. They have a board game for that. They have board games on Monster Hunter and all this Gears of War, a bunch of this stuff. So I'd be interested to see if they even have anything like that there.
Yeah, well, I
don't see Guild Ball on there.
On their website, they have a they still showing it, but they have a free starter kit, and it's all the digital files you need to start playing. Basically, it's the Brewers and the
Masons.
The Masons, we got.
Yeah, I mean we have that.
Yeah.
Starter set. I mean, I think the models look a little different. I think there's another guy in there that I'm not.
Yeah.
Oh, they have the Lucky player. Okay, we have him too.
Yeah.
I think the models look slightly different, but I don't know if the cards are different. Maybe that might be a cool thing to look at.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. But any other games? I tell you, I'm thinking about, because I've been listening to Dead's on the podcast. They've been talking about Warzone Eternal. I'd like to check that out. It was some kind of a property that Res Nova bought, and now they're looking to, I guess, bring the game back. And then they made a Kickstarter, and then they stopped the Kickstarter because they said it wasn't ready, and then they redid it again, and they had a successful Kickstarter. So I want to check it out because Rick and Brian have been talking about it a lot. So, that's the place to do it.
You know me. I'll try anything.
Yeah.
And once upon a time, I'd buy everything. But
once upon a time, as in like yesterday?
Yesterday.
No, honestly, I just don't buy like I used to. And I don't know, Warzone to me always looked like 40K light. I don't know.
It's
the meme where you order it on Wish and this is what you got. Like that's how Warzone looks to me. Like I ordered 40K and I got Warzone Eternal.
No. 40K from Wish.
Yeah. Like that's just how it appeared to me. It's probably a great game. And I'll demo it. I will definitely check it out. But yeah, visually it just didn't grab me the way 40K did when I first got into this.
Yeah, but I think this is a skirmish game.
Yeah.
So
I know.
I think they took the IP and made a completely different game with it.
Right. Yeah. No. Like I said, I'll demo all of the games that have been mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
We got to put that on a shirt. I just don't buy like I used to.
Yeah.
Did you ever play that superhero game we demoed last year?
Which
superhero?
You ordered it was the battle. I'm sorry,
the
mechs, not superhero. The battle bots game. I forgot what it was
called. Oh no, haven't played it yet. Haven't played it, but I will. I just haven't. William.
You got to come over.
William always wants to do different things, and speaking of games, the one game that I've gotten really into because of him, it's called Cyberpunk Red Combat Zone. Mm-hmm. It's a skirmish game by Monster Fight Club.
Right.
I highly recommend it.
Well, Monster Fight Club is going to be there.
I know.
So maybe we get a demo of the, what is it called?
Cyberpunk Red Combat Zone.
Okay.
But if we get together, I can bring over the game and show you guys.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm surprised by how much I'm enjoying it.
Okay.
Now that's like Cyberpunk, like the RPG / also video game / other stuff.
It's set in a time period before the video game, but just after, like, wherever the beginning of the role-playing game is. So you're dealing with the gangs and, combat, like, in the different zones. And it's really hard to explain because it's simple in how you create your squad, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And each starter pack comes with like 6 or 7 models, and depending on what point level you play at, it will be how many models you use. And the activation system is really fascinating because it's all color based, and that will indicate what you're going to do in terms of your range for your weapon, how far you're going to travel. It's hard for me to explain it, but when I show it to you, it's like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Okay.
And that's also how your damage is taken. So if your model has, say, 2 greens and a yellow, and I try to take a dodge action with a green, if I fail, that green token now becomes a red token, which is the worst you can have. So depending on how many actions your model has, once they're all red, if you take 1 more damage, that's when your model is dead.
Okay. You know what? We got to play it because it's,
Yeah, no. definitely got to play it because, like I said, I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would. But William is the one who came and expressed interest in it. He said, "Hey, could we get this?" And I said, "Yeah, but are you going to play?" And he's like, "Yeah, because you know I love Cyberpunk." I said, "All right." And we've been playing it a lot. So I have 4 factions so far.
Okay.
And yeah, having a ball with it. And it's a skirmish game, so you can play small to large, and it's got a built-in campaign system, which we're going to try doing at some point. And like that, we started small, so it was just basic, just kill each other. That's how we've been playing, and then we've added little things to it as we've gone.
Okay.
So we still have more to learn, but we've gotten the basics down. So yeah, I think it's something once you try it, you'll be like, you know what, this is a fun game.
Yeah, I was just checking it out. It looks pretty good. I like the Tiger Clan Claw. The Tiger Claw.
Tiger Claw, yeah. Yeah, they're in the starter.
The starter box, yeah. Which is actually sold out.
Right.
So, but yeah, well, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it sounds like an interesting thing. I mean, it sounds like an interesting mechanic too. Not just you're just killing each other. It's like, no, you gotta I need a game that has like interesting new mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the thing is, as you take damage, then that also, it's like the damage taken is also weakening you because the measurement meter that you use, it's broken down red, yellow, green. So green is the farthest you can go, 12 inches. So if you use a yellow token action to move, you can only go as far as yellow for your longest distance. So it's like when you take damage and your tokens become red, then it's like you're taking damage, so your movement is lessened, your attack is lessened, your accuracy is lessened. So it's like you're taking damage throughout the game, but your model is also weakening. So you really have
that sounds cool.
And one other thing I like, the last thing I'll say about it, is depending on how many actions your model has, it's a you go, I go mechanic, but I can choose to use only one of my actions on my turn and then pass. And then the other person can go, and they could choose to use all of the actions on their turn.
Oh, that's cool.
So you could move, shoot, or move to get close enough but still be in hiding. And all right, last thing I'll say about it. The thing I like the most is the react system. So if somebody shoots you, attacks you in combat, if you have an active action token, you can use it to fight back, shoot back, or run.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you're reacting to the situation. Even though it's not your turn, I'm going to react and I'm going to do this.
All right. We're going to demo it. Yes, we're going to demo it. This seems like maybe it's something we'll get into. Andrew.
Yes, sir.
The starter set, comes with 2 factions, but it comes with 3D terrain.
Oh.
Not 2D terrain, 3D terrain.
Oh.
So
well, I know you like that.
Yeah, I hate.
Are there cards and tokens in the game?
There are cards, tokens, dice, and measurements. So that just checked off every box for Andrew.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
It's got everything you need to start.
Okay. All right. Enough. We're gonna do it next week.
Calm down, Phasia.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. So,
real quick though, I do want to mention because I think I saw this last year, but I don't remember, and I see that they're on the vendor list, and I am interested in a demo for it. Snapship.
Yeah.
Because me and Lego building stuff, and then using me building a ship and then using that to kill you. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's really interesting too because I actually heard the creator of the game on a podcast recently, and he basically contacted the company and said, "Hey, can we make a game for this?" And they said that was their intention all along. They just never did it. So he made rules for those models, those toys or whatever they are technically, that you can buy in Target,
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a definite thing. Oh my god, cards, tokens. It's got the dice, rangefinders, and it's also got the little pandemic cubes for whatever reason. I don't know what they do, but it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean that's like, and it looks like it's got like health dials and
Yeah,
oh come on, like that's checking off every box for me, you
yeah,
know.
that's a lot of stuff, man.
So, but it looks, that's another thing that looks kind of cool. Last year was a little weird for me. I was there was a lot of stuff going on, finishing school and everything, but this year I'm definitely all in to demo and everything and film everything. So
Right.
this year I'm actually a lot more excited about this year, so definitely wanna demo this and see what the deal is.
Right.
Now real quick, well, does anybody else have anything that they're excited for demoing games or companies to see?
I just want to go.
Yeah. I want to try Mercs, because Fabian and I backed a Kickstarter, I don't know, like 72 years ago or something like that. And I have all these cool models. We have the cards, we have the stuff. One of the other guys took like a bunch of the board. I don't think we have the playing board, Fabian, right?
I have one
Okay.
set of the boards,
But
from one of the starters.
Yeah, I'd like to maybe check it out because it's more of a skirmish game.
Yeah.
And while we're there, that might be just something to look into, And I know the guy who bought the company or the IP or whatever, so
Yeah.
it might be worth it just to reach out to him and see, hey, listen, what's the deal with merch? Because it looks cool. It looks cool, and I remember when on the tabletop was Beasts of War, and you used to click into a video and they would have a commercial, and it was always Mercs. And I always thought it looked cool, but we were into 40K at the time. So it might be something to reevaluate, because we do have a lot of this. I think I have like 3 or 4 faction of models here. So
The same. I have a lot.
yeah, so it might be worth it for us to look into that, just to have a game that we already have the models and cards and everything that we need, and we could check it out,
Yeah. And they're not expensive.
But yeah, so anything else, Ryan? Anything else?
No, like everyone said, I think when we get there, just excited to go and see what's available.
Yeah.
So now real quick, we're hitting about the almost 1 hour mark, at least on my timer. So real quick, I do want to talk about tournament stuff. What's the deal with you guys? Because I'm not a tournament player, but you guys have done tournaments in the past. What's the tea? What's the deal?
Well, I'm currently registered for the Dead Zone tournament, but I think I'm going to drop it because I'm in the X-Wing World Championship tournament, and that might go over 2 days, which would overlap with the Dead Zone. So X-Wing's the one I've been playing more lately, so I'm just going to stick with that.
We were talking a little bit about it at the break. Just like, I think there's definitely, I think Coach agrees here. I think there's interest to do Armada. I think the difference is going into Adepticon last year, we did Dead Zone, and we spent hours and days just prepping Dead Zone for it, just perfecting the list. Just the third game's over, we're playing a fourth game basically, just heavy prep. We're kind of just I probably played 2 games of Armada in the last 3 months. We'd have to really hammer it home for the next couple of weeks if I felt comfortable to play in the tournament, because obviously I would say we're still not masters of the rules. But for me, and I know this has been mentioned, there's some interest in doing, just saying F it and doing Dead Zone, just because I haven't played it, I think, once since last Adepticon, but I'd feel the most comfortable just to pick it up and say, all right, why not, But I think the interest is in doing Armada. But you know what? I'm happy either way. Just go and enjoy and stuff like that, not have to play a tournament, I was just really happy being there last year. So.
Yeah, I think I might do the Armada tournament because it's Friday morning. It's done at 2, and it's only 3 games. But I'm not looking to, if you want to prep for it just to get the rules down, that would be cool. But I'm just looking to go and just maybe have a little fun, and I want to play against some guys that know what they're doing and maybe pick up some strategies, and because I do like the game a lot. And I mean, Dead Zone, we could just pick up and do it, but I want to try something different this year, because so far, other than the first Adepticon that we went to, every year we've played Dead Zone, and nothing against the game. I just, it's time for a little, maybe something different. But also too, with me, the Dead Zone tournament's Saturday, and it takes a huge chunk out of the day, and I'd like to maybe like Friday night into Saturday, maybe just hang out, and do the vendor hall and maybe talk to some people. And we got Andrew and I were talking. We got a lot of interviews planned, and a lot of things on the docket that we want to do. So I think, after 2:00 on Friday, all the way and all day Saturday, and also we have Thursday that we're going to be there. We have more than enough time, and me just to roll some dice with some people, and maybe meet some other people that are not in the Dead Zone sphere, maybe in the Kings of War / Armada sphere. Thinking about it, I'm thinking about just taking a really easy list that I'm familiar with and just go to town with it. And it seems cool because the missions are not too hard to understand. And I just, I'm thinking that's where my head's at. Like, I don't really care if I win this tournament. I'm just looking to have some fun and play, and no stress.
Yeah. I again, it's the same with me, because I think we really went into Dead Zone last year with that, we were going in with that competitive mindset.
Right.
I think the only reason why I would suggest, why I mentioned having to cram a little bit is the rules, and just more of a courtesy to whoever I'm playing with. But
well, we could do that. We play 2-3 games and we'll get it.
Right.
And there's I know what you're talking about. There's a few mechanics like the grappling and the boarding actions and stuff. We got to maybe really brush up on that. But I already started making a cheat sheet, so
Right.
make it easier for us. So, but I'm probably going to do the Armada tournament, not the 5,000 one, the regular one. It's, I think, 200 points, 3 missions, 3 games. So put my feet up, roll some dice, move some ships around the table.
Are we doing Mantic Open Night this year?
I don't think they're having it this year because I don't think they have the availability of the room, and they don't have. I think they kind of I'm not going to say double the price, but I don't think it's cost effective because it's getting more expensive every year. So, I don't think they're going to have Mantic Open Night. I mean, we can hang out with those guys. I know I talked to Rob, and he wants to hang out a little bit more. And that's another thing, too. I want to do a lot more hanging this year because last year it seemed like we were all over the place. And, but this year we have a car, too, so we're masters of our own destiny this year.
Yeah.
So, that's that.
Doing a little Legoland with this Adepticon trip.
Well, we'll see. I mean, there are new March releases, but
Jeez.
we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what games we may or may not buy at Adepticon.
Yeah. And also, if we wake up in the middle of the night and the car's gone, we know where Andrew is because we're I think our hotel's around the block from the Legoland.
I'll just walk.
Yeah. So
it's not just Legoland too. We're gonna have our first FOG Raising Cane's experience. So.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but if it's spicy, we can't do it. I don't know. I'll go with you.
Nah, it's not spicy.
All right. I can't. Coach, don't do spice.
What are we talking about there?
Don't worry, Fabian. Just get in the car and come with us. We'll take you. We got you.
I'll probably be asleep in the car.
That is true.
Aren't you guys happy we're not driving?
Yes. We did that twice, and that was.
I feel like we did it 3 times.
No, we did it 3 times. Yeah.
Because that one year it snowed and we had to take the car.
You know what? That's the one because we did it twice. We drove it twice, and then that year we were all set, and then it snowed for one day, and then remember we rented a car and we were driving, and there was no snow on the roads. I mean there was. New York took care of it. There was no snow on the road, So I remember me and Andrew woke up at 5 a.m. to shovel our walkway and house because we were leaving. And, we got picked up and then, we went to rent a car. So, but that was
an awesome car though, I will say.
Yeah. Well, we had a fully loaded, Pacifica. Yeah. We had the
brand new
media pack. Yeah. It was like 7 miles on it. We brought it back with like,
over almost 2,000.
Yeah. It was like almost it was like 3,007 when we gave it back. Cause we were driving all over the place. We were driving everybody that year.
I'm a little FOMO that I was never on one of the road trips, but I feel like our little airport treks are they're not too shabby.
I just
we're going a little off course this year.
Yeah, I like the one video we were doing the vlog, and Andrew goes, "So Fabian, where are we?" He says, "Oh, we're at Terminal B at JFK," and then I go, "Well, we're at LaGuardia, but it's okay. It's a completely different airport, but it's okay." But yeah, I'm psyched, man. I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's good, and it's good for us to just get together and get away.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. It was good to just honestly just something to do and just to hang out with you guys is great. Shout out to Southwest with the FOG partnership, 2 free bags.
I'm glad you made that deal with them that we can bring 2 free bags. So that works out good.
Yeah, it was exclusive.
Southwest sponsor us, please.
Yep.
All right. Well, any last words, y'all?
Anybody FOG Patreon, come see me. I got some free gifts for you guys. I got something really cool.
I'm just looking forward to gaming, the vendor hall, and to hang. That's it. Can't wait.
And mulin'. We don't forget the mules.
And the
Of
bullin'.
course.
The mulin' and the bullin'. But that's it, y'all. So there are some links actually probably just one or two links in the description and show notes. You can check out the sponsor of the podcast, as well as our link tree that has all our socials in there, plus our YouTube channel, which we post weekly on there. And so if you like what you're listening to here, you can check us out on YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff. And yeah, guys. So we'll see you in the next one.
Well, guys, unfortunately this is the end. But don't worry, they will be back next month. And you can check out all the links in the description or show notes for more Andrew and Coach. See you next month.